Hi, I'm Casey and I have a crush on food. And today I have a crush on green bean casserole. The holidays are coming up and in my family, it's a big family and everybody brings something. And long ago, when I joined the family, I was assigned green bean casserole. And I'm sure that you've had the traditional green bean casserole. Canned green beans, canned cream of mushroom soup, canned onions. Well, a few years ago when I got my crush on food, I decided to try it a different way, make it from fresh ingredients. And people still liked it. So my version isn't necessarily more healthy or better for you, but does have a lot less preservatives and chemicals and much less salt. So the first thing you're going to do is prep your vegetables. So I have 16 ounces of baby portobello mushrooms here. And I was just going to show you, you want to wash them, and I run them under water and just gently rub the tops of them to get the dirt off. They're grown in the ground, so they can be a little bit dirty. Just pop the stem out, and then I just cut them in nice big chunks. So you're going to do that with all 16 ounces of your mushrooms. And then I have 2 pounds of fresh green beans here, and they're usually pre-washed. You can wash them if you want. The only thing is that they have these little tips on them, which, you know, if you're pressed for time, you could leave on there, but they kind of make the green beans, the texture of the green bean casserole a little bit weird if you do. But you can just get a handful of them like this and then just snip off the ends. So this is a little bit time consuming, and you could even do this the day ahead just to save yourself some time, especially if you're making it for the holiday meal. So I've got all this ready. I have 4 quarts of water boiling on the stove, and we're going to cook the green beans first. So let's head over there. So I have the water boiling here, and I do the green beans in 2 batches. So I do half at a time. So they don't need to cook very long, just about 6 minutes in this boiling water. And when you take them out, we're going to drain them really fast and then plunge them in a bath of ice water. So I'll show you that when they're ready. My first batch of green beans is done. Plunge them into the ice water bath. Doing this keeps the green beans green and it stops the cooking process. Paper-lined baking sheet so they can drain. Still have your water reserved here, so just put it back on the stove and repeat it with the second batch. So now I'm going to make the sauce that goes in the green bean casserole. I'm going to start with the same pot, nice big pot. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 425 because it's going to bake at the end, the whole casserole. And I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of butter. I've got it like on a medium-high heat. And just let that melt. Butter's melted, in go the mushrooms. 3 garlic cloves minced. Half a teaspoon of salt and 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. Make sure all the mushrooms get coated with the butter, and it's going to cook them until the mushrooms are soft, about 6 minutes or so. The mushrooms look great, nice and soft. I'm putting in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and you're going to stir it for a minute. Stir it constantly. Try to coat all the mushrooms with the flour. Alright, adding the chicken broth, 1½ cups, and go ahead and keep stirring it. Once you've got the chicken broth in it, you want to bring the mixture to a simmer, and it's going to get a little bit thicker because the chicken broth and the flour are going to mix together. And this is the base for our sauce. So keep stirring and let it get thick. So my mixture is simmering. I'm going to add 3/4 cup of milk and 3/4 cup of heavy cream. I'm going to reduce the heat to low medium, more low. And you're going to let this cook, barely simmering, for about 12 minutes. And then we'll put everything together and stick it in the oven. The mushroom sauce is done. I've got my green beans in a 9 by 13 inch baking dish. So just pour the sauce over the green beans. And to this, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of freshly grated Parmesan Reggiano, which I think is the secret ingredient to my green bean casserole. It's really good like that. And also, so I still use canned fried onions. So if you know how to make them yourself, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to put half the can here inside. And just toss it, and then once all the green beans are coated, you're going to stick it in the oven at 425. I preheated the oven earlier, and it's going to bake for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to put the topping on. Alright, it's been in the oven 15 minutes, so just going to put the topping on, the rest of the onions, and another 1/3 cup of the Parmesan cheese. And you're just going to bake it for another 5 minutes, or until the cheese looks bubbly and the onions are nice and brown. So, almost done. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. And it smells good, and it's not Thanksgiving yet, but tonight maybe we'll have a little pre-Thanksgiving. I hope that if you're watching this, you've thought about making green bean casserole homemade, fresh. And I hope you do it. There's a lot of steps. It takes a little bit more time than the regular green bean casserole, but it's worth it.